Right, I think we'll get started. I can let other people in if they arrive. So we've got about 20 booked on. So usually we get probably half of those arriving. The rest are after the recording, which is absolutely fine. Okay, so thank you very much for coming along. I'm Steve Woods. For those of you that have not met me, I'm a hypnotist. Really quickly about me, been hypnotising people for 18 years now. Worked my way through the therapeutic side of things, and then got more involved in these last few years around performance, and in particular then getting involved in golf probably for about 4 or 5 years now. Got involved in the golf side. It's not exclusively an area I work in, but it's an area I work in a great deal out of all my areas of performance work. Today we're going to be working on the pre-shot routine. So I'm going to talk a little bit, there is a plan. I'm going to talk a little bit about hypnosis. Apologies, because I know certainly at least one of you on the lives heard this before. It is a little bit different each time I talk about it, but also on the recording, I'm sure there's some of you that have heard this part before, at least with the recording. And when you get your recording, you can skip through to the hypnosis bit. I won't be offended, so I won't know. So I'm going to talk a little bit about hypnosis, explain how we believe it works, some of my views as well over the years, a little bit around that, but mostly it's going to be about actually doing some work. So I'm actually going to do some eyes closed work. So when we do get to that part, whether you're doing this on the replay or live, it's a point where you're going to be closing your eyes, so you need to be in a position where you're safe to close your eyes. Sitting comfortably, you don't need to be laid down. Sitting is absolutely fine, and you'll be able to then just follow along with the instructions. But I'll talk about that in a little while when we get there. Probably aiming for, in total, probably about 40 minutes altogether, maybe a little bit more, but we'll have time for some questions at the end as well. So let's talk a bit about hypnosis. Anybody here in the room live done hypnosis before? Okay, Grant's got Ralph's done a bit, excellent. Anybody meditate? Okay, so it doesn't matter, but it's always interesting to know. And the reason it doesn't matter is my belief is that everybody can be hypnotised. Some people take longer than others, no doubt about it, but everyone can be hypnotised. My job as a hypnotist is to find the right way to work with somebody. But what is actually happening when we're getting hypnosis? Hypnosis is about getting to the subconscious part of the mind, the doing part of the mind. So while I'm talking to you now, I'm not really thinking about my hands waving around. I'm certainly not thinking about my breathing, not until I mention it. But up until that point, the subconscious is dealing with it. If for some reason I had to walk to the door behind me, I don't think about where I'm putting my feet unless it's slippy or unless there's something on the floor that's going to trip me up. Wherever possible, my subconscious mind is going to do those things. Even reaching out for the door handle, I might consciously look and go, oh, there's the door handle, but I don't think about all the muscles and things that I'm using to actually get hold of that door handle and open it. All of those things are done by the subconscious mind, even down to heartbeat and, as I say, breathing and things as well. So it's the doing part of the mind. It's the part of the mind, though, that protects us as well, and it will often overprotect us. We're running protection scenarios all the time, even sitting in this room now. The curtains are closed, I can't really see a great deal, but in the background my mind's going, what if the internet goes off? All these background things are happening for it to protect me, and it protects us still in a way that's quite primitive, is the belief. It still protects us in a way. So even things like embarrassment and humiliation, the subconscious mind wants to stop that happening again, and it treats it like it's life and death. It treats it from the times when a saber-toothed tiger would sit outside the cave door waiting to eat us. It treats it in that same way. So that's why in the case of golf, you might start to get some anxiety around a particular type of shot because something's happened before, somebody's made a comment, you've been embarrassed, or you've just got frustrated with it, and the subconscious mind basically is, I don't want that to happen again, so it tries to keep you away from it by creating anxiety, creating something that's going to make you run away. It wants you to go into fight or flight mode. It thinks it's going to eat us, that particular type of shot. So hypnosis is about getting to that doing part of the mind and teaching it how to do things in a different way. And generally we do this through visualizing success. But I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute or two because I'm getting ahead of myself. So we get natural hypnosis a few times a day, probably more than a few times a day, when we're distracted. So if we're consciously we're distracted, we're busy doing something, subconscious mind is left open. Driving is I'm driving two examples really of hypnosis for those of us that drive cars or drive vehicles. Often you'll drive somewhere and not remember that journey because you've driven on autopilot, you've driven subconsciously. So when we're in that mode, we're in that sort of distracting the conscious mind, or when we're actually thinking about something, we're working on something in our head as we're driving, we've got the radio playing in the background and we end up humming that song that we didn't even consciously hear because it's got into the subconscious in the background. So there's all sorts of examples of that. I used to talk back to driving. I used to watch my dad drive as a child, and I used to see all those movements on the steering wheel and think, wow, he must be concentrating so hard on those things. But actually, little did I know that was all automatic. Again, subconscious mind is doing those things. When we're emotional, there's a pathway to the subconscious mind, both positive and negative emotions, but it's often a way that we embed fears and phobias, particularly in children. A child's emotional, something's happened, their conscious mind is busy dealing with the emotions, subconscious is left open. So what we say then as adults, grandparents, parents, whatever we are, will often get into the subconscious. Oh, yeah, you're always dropping things, you're useless, you're stupid. So we gain access to the subconscious mind in a negative way in that case. In hypnosis, creating positive emotions again creates a nice pathway, and that's a positive use of that same thing. When you're falling asleep as well. So we get to a point where you're falling asleep, and hopefully you've noticed this, that physically you feel as though you're asleep. You can't really move, but you're still thinking. The mind is still going. And that's a point where the conscious mind is falling asleep, the thinking part of the mind, the brain part of the mind, and then the subconscious, the bit that runs in the background, is still there. And it's a great time for repetitive learning. So if you want to learn a language or Morse code, which is a language, but something in the background, something that you can do repetitive learning. It's no good listening to an audio book because you'll never remember where you're up to before you did go fully asleep. But for something that you can have repetitive, or affirmations is a really good use of that time. If you've not looked at affirmations, it's definitely worth a look. There's lots of information on the web about it. Keep them quite specific, quite short and rhythmic sentences about, I am doing this thing, very good at this thing, whatever it's going to be. But that will go into your subconscious mind. It will create an image, a visualization based on what you say. So it's just getting that right for you, to make sure that it's going to give you the best possible results. So my computer's doing something. I'm just making sure it's not doing something that's going to interfere. Click the wrong button there. Sorry, that's it. So those several times, and also when you are put into hypnosis by a hypnotist, which is what we're going to talk about today. So why does it work? I've already talked about visualizing success and imagining success, and that's really how it works. It's getting your mind to create new habits and new emotions, new behaviors around success. So for me as the hypnotist, my job is to help you gain access to your inner mind, your subconscious mind, and then that part of your mind is the part of your mind that then get you to visualize how good it feels to be successful in whatever it is that you're working on. By doing that, there's actually been brain measurements made where the brain is making connections, you're making memories. So next time you then go into that situation, the subconscious checks in. I talked about these protection methods. It checks in. Do I need to protect myself? Actually, no, because last time I was on the golf course, my routine was working really well, making great shots, or my public speaking was great, or my sleep was great, or whatever we've been working on. It checks in and goes, actually, that was fine. So it feels much better and lets you go into that situation free from then the anxiety, the blocks, the things that were holding you back. It lets those go. So visualization is key, but also less so probably in the game of golf, but certainly to some degree, it also gives you great clarity. Maybe finding your goals, finding your end result. Sometimes we don't have much of an end result in mind. We don't really have a goal in mind in some parts of life. By getting into that subconscious mind, free from the doubting, critical conscious mind, then actually you'll find that you're able to find the goals, to find your successes, because if I said to somebody that horrible interview question that I don't know whether they still ask it now, it's a long time since I've had an interview, but where do you see yourself in 5 years' time or 10 years' time? Actually, consciously, that can be quite hard to try and answer. But if you're in hypnosis, if you're in that subconscious part of your mind, subconscious will provide the real answer, your inner answer, straight away, instantly. No hesitation about it, because it's that doing part of your mind. And one last thing, in particular in relation to golf, a lot of golfers that I work with talk about when they're using hypnosis, they feel as though they've found space to be able to better use what they thought they already knew. That's probably a really rubbish way of explaining it, but they felt as though they'd learned something. They've had lessons, they feel as though they've learned something, feel as though they know how to do something. And then when they've started to use the hypnosis, it's almost like they've slowed everything down, even though they've not. The physical game is still running at the same speed, but their mind has slowed down, made some space, and they've gone, actually, that technique I learned, now I really do understand it. Now I really do understand how I've got to make use of it. So there's all sorts of ways that hypnosis can help in other areas as well, but in particular in golf. So visualizing success, letting go of the blocks that have been holding you back, but then also making that space to help you actually be able to make use of what you've already learned physically and technically as well. A couple of questions I normally ask people before we start to do some work is, how do you think it's going to feel to be hypnotized? How do you imagine I'm going to get you into hypnosis? And that's really just to have a quick conversation about, I can't tell you how you're going to feel. If you've never done this before, your mind will have to find the right way in for you and the right experience for you. There's some shared experiences. Most people experience a heaviness. They physically heavy, arms or legs, a nice relaxed feeling, but you can still move, you can still fidget. You're not out of it at all in any way. You're perfectly aware as well. If there's any noises where you are, you'll be aware of those. You'll hear those. If there's noises here, which there shouldn't be, but if there were, you might become aware of those as well. If anything happens that needs your immediate attention, you become aware and alert and deal with it. Our brains are conditioned, our minds are conditioned. Even if I didn't say that, if the smoke detectors went off or something, even in deep hypnosis, your mind will go, that's something wrong, that's something I need to deal with, and will bring you out of hypnosis. You might feel a bit groggy for a couple of seconds, but you'll come back really, really quickly and easily. But I always mention it because hypnosis, again, is about when this thing happens, this will happen. When you step up to the ball, you'll switch on your routine, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. But also, if there was an emergency, this will happen as well. So there's a lot of that goes off within the hypnosis. The way I'm going to get you into hypnosis is I'm going to talk you through today a nice head-to-toe type relaxation. A couple of you done this before. Those are listening to the replay, if you've done this before, your mind will probably follow the same sort of route as you've done before, particularly if you've done work with me before. But if you're doing this for the first time, just let your mind just flow excuse me, into that nice relaxed feeling. So head to toe type relaxation, bit of counting, bit of breathing, thinking about muscles relaxing. Just go with the flow with it as much as you can. Try not to try, which might seem a silly thing to say. But back to that conscious, subconscious mind thing. If you're trying too hard, you're keeping your conscious mind too involved. And that's the part of the mind that we want to relax out the way, gain access to the subconscious, and actually then the subconscious do its thing today. Which today, other than getting into a nice relaxed state and going to a nice relaxing place, first of all, is actually going to be then focused on your game, focused on in particular this pre-shot routine, and really practicing the pre-shot routine of your game that works really well for you. That's what we're looking for. And you might get ingredients coming in from elsewhere. You might have a real clear, crisp pre-shot routine now that you just want to reinforce. That's great. But often when I'm working with people, they rush it, they miss bits out and things like that. So it's an opportunity to slow it down today and to let it flow easily and naturally. Nice sort of step by step by step. And I'll talk you all through this as we go. I will briefly get you to open your eyes when you hypnotise, whether you're on the replay or whether you're doing this live. The reason for that is I just want you to notice how it feels. I just want you to notice that feeling, and it will get better each time you listen to the recording. You'll get better at being hypnotised, because it's like learning anything. The more that you practice it, the better you get. But by stopping and just going, oh yeah, I do feel heavy, I do feel relaxed, I do feel different, it helps to reinforce it. I meet so many people who they'll say, oh yeah, a friend of mine did hypnosis. It didn't work. They weren't hypnotised. They could hear the cars outside. They didn't feel hypnotised. If nobody took the time to, for start, explain, yeah, you will hear the cars outside, but actually as well that this is how you feel physically, getting them to notice those sorts of things, and they then go away thinking they've never been hypnotised, then why would anything work? Why would whatever they're working on work? So I'm big into, even in these groups, to go, okay, let's just spend just a couple of seconds of just noticing how you feel and then getting you back into the hypnosis. So we've reached the point of doing some work. A reminder again, more so for the replay, but only listening to this part if it's safe for you to close your eyes. So not while driving, not while operating machinery or doing anything that might be a danger to yourself or anyone else around you. I will switch my video off while you've got your eyes closed. The only reason for that is that I don't need to send you video because you've got your eyes closed, so it helps to keep the audio quality up just by shutting that side of it down. I don't need to send video at the same time. On the recording, if you're watching the replay, because I'm recording this separately, you will still see me in actual fact, well you won't see me because you'll have your eyes closed as well. Anybody got any immediate questions they must ask before we do anything in the room? If anybody's got anything they really need to know before we start, otherwise let's do the reason why you're all here, to actually do some work. Okay, brilliant. So nobody's shouting up. So just a case of sitting nice and comfortably, nice and balanced, just so your arms are sort of balanced, your feet ideally on the floor. You can be reclined, you can be laid down if you want to, that's absolutely fine as well, but just so you're comfortable. And you can, when you're doing this on the recording, you can be, if you want to sit one day and lay down the next day. There is always a chance that you might fall asleep if you're too comfortable. It is a relaxing experience, and if you're tired you might fall asleep, so just keeping that in mind. You can lift yourself up if you do feel as though you're drifting too deep into relaxation. You can actually come up a few steps as well, so just keep that in mind as we go. But otherwise, getting nice and comfortable, nice and relaxed and settled, and closing your eyes. And then just starting to think about now all the little tiny muscles that are in your cheeks, those muscles around your eyes, and imagining those muscles relaxing. Allowing those muscles to get soft, to get lazy. You might tense them up and let them go. You might just imagine them nice and relaxed and lazy. There really is no wrong way for you to do this. Whatever way you do this is absolutely right for you. Your eyelids relaxing, your eyelids getting nice and lazy, nice and heavy. Your eyelids getting so relaxed, so heavy, so lazy that you don't want to, but even if you did want to, that you just wouldn't be able to open your eyes. And then taking that feeling from behind your eyes and letting it move up over your forehead, up over the top of your head, down the back of your head, down into your neck and your shoulders. It's a wonderful warm band of relaxation, relaxing every nerve, every muscle, every fibre as it moves. As every deep breath now, every firm beat of your heart, helping to slow things down. As you allow that feeling to continue to move, moving from your neck and your shoulders now, moving down through your arms, nice warm band of relaxation. Moving all the way down through your arms, right down into your lower arms. All the way down to your hands and to your fingers. And then that same feeling moving down through the centre of your body. Again, warm band of relaxation. All the way down through the centre of your body, right the way down. Into your legs, moving down through your legs, right down into your lower legs. All the way down to your feet. And then from your feet, just allowing that feeling to escape into the floor, into the air, wherever feels natural. And noticing another nice wave of relaxation, head to toe, following it down. And then starting to think about now a wonderful place, a perfect place. This place could be somewhere real, somewhere imaginary, somewhere you've been to, somewhere you'd like to go to. Be a combination of all those things. If you've worked with me before or you're following this on the recording, go back to the same place that you've used previously if you want to. That's fine as well. But go with wherever your mind gives you to go first of all. Finding yourself there, being yourself there, looking around, noticing the detail. Letting that detail get better, letting that detail become nice and clear, nice and bright. Doesn't matter if that conscious part of your mind might sometimes wander to other thoughts, just like it might do in any conversation, because you can just grab it, bring it back, and each time it comes back, it'll come back with more focus, more attention, able to stay focused for longer. Noticing that minutes feel like hours in this place. As you just start to let go. Never losing control, never giving up awareness, but just being able to let go. Noticing the textures, things in your place that you can reach out and touch, things that you're naturally in contact with. Whether you're sitting, standing, or laying down in your wonderful place. Aware of the temperature, it's perfect. Even aware of the sounds and the smells, everything about it. As you just let go. Safe in the knowledge that if anything should happen where you are that needs your immediate attention today, that you become aware and alert and able to give it the attention that it needs. As well, if anything should happen with our internet connection or the recording, if you're watching this on the replay, listening to this on the replay again, become aware and alert, able to reconnect to the meeting or to restart the recording, whichever needs to happen. But we don't need to worry about those things right now, because right now I'm going to count down from 10 down to 1, each number down, letting you step a level deeper, letting you sink a level deeper, whatever a level is for you. Finding you into or back into nice relaxed hypnosis, nice deep hypnotized feeling. So starting at 10, feeling that step down to 9, stepping down to 8, every nerve, muscle, fibre is limp and loose and lazy. You step down to 7 and 6. Still in that wonderful place, that perfect place, just soaking up the calm and the relaxation. Stepping down to 5 and 4. Every out breath letting you sink a little bit deeper into whatever it is that you're resting on today. As it gets softer and softer, more and more comfortable. You can step down to 3 and 2 and all the way down to 1. Wonderfully relaxed, wonderfully calm, comfortable, and just letting go. Maybe noticing that heaviness in your arms or your legs or both even. Just that nice relaxed feeling. Your mind settles into that nice relaxation, that nice high focus. Now in a moment I'm going to count up to 3, and on the count of 3 you'll be able to open your eyes and just notice how you feel, just for a moment or two, even if you're on the recording. Just about noticing physically how you're feeling. You'll stay relaxed, you'll stay hypnotized, and then we'll ask you to close your eyes again. You will find that you can sink even deeper down, even further down into that nice relaxation, that nice hypnotized feeling. So 1, 2, 3, can open your eyes. And then just spending a moment, just noticing how you feel. We don't need to have a conversation. One-to-one we might do, but we don't need to. It's just noticing. You might feel heavy, you might feel relaxed, you might feel different in some way. It's just that convincing for your mind. And each time you listen to this part of it, you'll be deeper each time as well as you get better at doing this. So let's get your eyes closed. Let's get you back to your nice place first of all. So that's it, closing your eyes down, back down to your wonderful place, your perfect place. Finally, you can just step back into it nice and easily, but maybe even relaxing even further down as you do this, as you're getting better and better at being hypnotized. Now, just as easy as it is to step back into this wonderful place, in a moment it'll be just as easy to step into your game and to think about, in particular today, your pre-shot routine. But it's your pre-shot routine under your control. So it's not going to be rushed. You're going to slow things down. You're going to get things exactly how you want them to be before you speed them up to the normal pace again. Remembering, as I talked about before, the subconscious mind, when you're visualizing something, you're visualizing success, you're creating memories, you're creating real connections in the brain as if that thing's happening right now. Subconscious mind, that inner part of your mind, doesn't mind whether you are visualizing things in the future, whether something's happening right now, or whether you're remembering something. As far as it's concerned, whatever you work on feels like it's right now, and your body will release happy hormones, the right chemicals to help to reinforce that experience, to create those memories and those behaviors. So let's go up to your game. Again, as easy as it was to step into your place, step up into your game. Might be a game you've got planned. It might be any time in these next few days or weeks. And to be approaching a shot where maybe your mind feels as though you need to practice that routine a little bit better. I'm not going to be too specific about which part of the game you're in, because each time you listen to this, you can move around a little bit within the game. You can focus on different parts. But be you approaching that particular shot. Be you now just slowing things down as you start to think about your routine. Now, as you do this, if something doesn't look or feel right, it's the point to change it, to stop it, to rewind it, to make it right, and then let it run again. It's a nice focus, nice concentration to that point where you start your routine. When you've approached the ball or the tee or the marker on the green and you're setting up for your routine, and then feeling that rhythm, that flow, that tempo of your routine, where one thing moves into the next, moves into the next. It's not for me to change your routine or even to suggest things for your routine, but I'm imagining there's some visualization in there. There's probably a practice swing in there somewhere. If you've already got a crystal clear routine, great. Continue with it, reinforce it, practice, practice, practice. If you know there's something in the past that's not quite right with your routine, now's the time to fix it. Now is the time to make it exactly right, and then step through it. One thing leading to the next, linking these things together. So in the future, you won't miss things out. In the future, your mind will go, I've finished that part of my routine, so it must be this bit next, then it must be this bit, then it must be this bit. All the way through to that full flowing swing. That amazingly balanced putt. Whatever the shot is that you're working on. And there's time today, even in this short session, to work your way around the course to some degree. You've not got to move between the shots, because once you've made that full flowing shot, you've seen the ball on target, you can move to your next shot and your next shot. So continuing to practice your success. Continuing to practice exactly how this looks and feels for you, how it should look and feel. Think about how you want your pre-shot routine to work. And giving yourself that opportunity to make it right. You might step out and watch yourself running through that routine. You can see what you're doing. You can tell what you're doing in that routine. Or you might continue to be yourself. You might move between the two, and that's fine as well. As I said at the very beginning of this hypnosis, there is no wrong way for you to do this. Whatever way you do this is absolutely right for you. Feeling that flow, feeling that rhythm, feeling that tempo. Whatever the circumstances, whether there's people watching, people waiting, doesn't matter. It's your value to be here on the course in this moment in the future. Knowing that this keeps with you as well. It's not just about the next game that you play. Actually, these changes will stick. Yes, there may be things that we can work on together in the future, but right now we're working on your routine. Right now, that routine, exactly how you want it to be. Keeping nice and focused, keeping that active imagination working. As you notice how quickly that inner part of your mind gets this exactly right for you. Because it can. It's the doing part of your mind. That inner part of your mind is free from the doubting, self-critical conscious mind. That inner part of your mind is able to see and feel and even hear your routine, whether you're watching yourself or whether you're being yourself, because that's its job. It's the doing part of your mind. Get excited about it. Enjoy the feeling of that routine working really well, because the more that you can enjoy it, the more you create those positive emotions around it, the more that subconscious mind will want to make this a reality for you. Because subconscious mind loves those positive outcomes. It loves those positive emotions and will want to make them a reality. So continuing to move through your game. If something doesn't look or feel right as you're practicing today, stop, change it, make it right. But it's your opportunity to practice your pre-shot routine in a perfect way. Practice makes perfect. But only when you're practicing it in that perfect way. You're making sure that it's linked, it's in a nice rhythm, it's a nice flow, it's a nice pace. You're creating that great rhythm of your success. That great rhythm of your successful pre-shot routine. That's our focus for today. And you're able to easily and comfortably flow through that routine. To enjoy it. To enjoy the results as well, because by getting that nice rhythm and flow of your routine and making sure that everything's in the routine that needs to be, so you're not missing anything out, actually, it feels really good. That feels really natural and normal and will result in more success in your game, because you're enjoying being there. You're no longer tense and stressed by the routine. It's happening for you. There might be other areas we can work on in your game, but right now, the bit that we're interested in is working exactly as you want it to. It's doing those shoulds. How does it feel? How does it feel emotionally? Where does it feel emotionally? It might seem strange, but we get that feeling somewhere within us. Think about that feeling, capture that feeling wherever it is, and really focus on it. As you continue to practice your routine, to go step by step by step, linking those steps together. Remembering when you listen to this replay, you can move to different parts of your game as well. It gets easier, it gets better, it becomes more powerful, more effective. And then grabbing those feelings, grabbing those successes, making them yours, hugging them into you, squeezing them into you, making them yours, and bringing them back into your wonderful place, your perfect place. Just taking a moment to soak those feelings in, those changes, every cell taking them on, every cell smiling and happy, right the way down to the tips of your toes, tips of your fingers, top of your head. Every part of you looking forward to actually getting out there and making those changes. Every part of you excited, smiling, feeling good about that routine, that correct routine. And then just being in that wonderful place, that perfect place. Now in a moment or two, I'm going to count this time from 1 to 5. On the count of 5 and only on the count of 5, you'll smile, you'll stretch, you'll open your eyes, becoming fully wide awake, fully alert, feeling really good, feeling really well. You'll feel as though you've just had a really good sleep. Not been to sleep just yet though, you've only been relaxed, you've only been hypnotised. When you do come back from this hypnosis session, you will feel that great energy, that great uplifting feeling. Your subconscious mind will remember every moment of this session. The conscious mind remembers as much as it would do from any conversation, and that's fine because it's your subconscious that makes those changes and helps you to achieve that great rhythm and flow of your routine every single time you play. And generally feeling really good, maybe even feeling better than you've felt for some time. So 1, feel a little less relaxed. 2, feel a surge of energy now through your body, whole body becoming energized as that energy level builds up. 3, take a deep breath of cool, clear mountain air, filling your lungs with life-giving oxygen. 4, feel cool, clear mountain spring water wash the backs of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your throat. Your chest's clear, stomach's clear, and your head's clear. Your nose, your mouth, and throat's clear. Your eyes are bright and shiny. And 5, eyes open, wide awake. Nice stretch. Oh. Okay, so welcome back. Have a drink. So that's a hypnosis session which, so on the replay, you can come back and you can listen to this as often as you like, in actual fact. So you could do this every day if you wanted to, every couple of days. Wouldn't necessarily do it more than once a day because you're working on something quite specific, but you will be able to, when you get the recording next couple of days, be able to come back and use that. So that sort of brings us to the end of what we're here to do, but I'm quite happy to answer any questions if there are any questions, any observations from what we've just done. Like I say, I'll get this out to you tomorrow, I think it will be. I think I've got time in the morning to quickly process this and get it out to you, so you'll get the recording anyway then. And then I'll let you know if there's future workshops, because I normally have a couple of workshops on the go. I need to set some dates for some more, so I'll get those sorted out and out to you as well. Any suggestions for future workshops are welcome as well. So if anybody goes, well, yeah, I really like to work on this area, quite happy to take those on if I can and make them into something. Just, it's something that we can do quite quickly and, you know, quite a short duration session, but that sort of thing. So yeah, over to you guys if there are any questions.